For my second theory presentation, it will be over the classical Durkheimian theory. This theory, created by Emily Durkheim in 1897, looks at finding the cause of suicide, most notably arguing that suicide is not an act solely caused by the individual, but by social factors around the individual. The causes come from his ideas of social integration and social regulation. The first piece is called social integration. This form requires that a person wishes to be a part of the society that they are in. How a part of the society they are in, however, changes their chances of committing suicide. Too much involvement or integration increases the chances of an altruistic suicide, while a lack of involvement or integration causes an increased risk of egotistical suicide. An egotistic suicide is when person A becomes detached from their society and feels alone and hopeless, while an altruistic society is when person A feels so dedicated to their society that they feel that taking their own life is a good idea if it comes at the benefit of the people around them. Next is social regulation. This form requires that an individual is forced into a society or is oppressed by a group or culture within their own society. A moderate amount of social regulation is argued to reduce the risk of suicide, while too little societal regulation put on an individual can cause an anomic suicide, and too much social regulation put on someone by a society can cause a fatalistic suicide. An anomic suicide is when person A has no social constraints, causing them to have unrealistic or unattainable life goals, and therefore fail more, causing frustration and ultimately causing suicide. This is much more common in wealthier nations. While fatalistic suicide is when person A feels so controlled by the society around them that they feel suicide is a better alternative than living under that controlling force. Durkheim's approach is one of the most popular theories to this date. This theory seems to go against positivist theory as it does not focus on the individual's actions. Instead, Durkheim looks at how a person is treated and how a particular social climate leads an individual to action. His theory argues that extremes within a person's social life can lead to detrimental actions. One may try and combat this approach by taking a psychiatric approach rather than a sociological one, arguing that suicide is rooted in mental illness that can be explained by biological factors. If an individual's biological factors are right to commit the act will then be done regardless of the social factors around them.